scariest moment for me, being a single mom, was the thought of being alone and going through cancer. I have 3 brothers, but I've always wanted a sister. But then I look around and I have all these sisters that is willing to share with me. I've not even met you guys before right now, and I know you know me, and I know you, and I have that sisterhood with you guys, and I know I'm not alone.
I found the lump myself, and I was petrified because it felt huge, and I'm very diligent about doing what you're supposed to do to take care of yourself with your annual doctor stuff. So I was just petrified, but I found that the love and support of my family and my friends and their family and their friends and people that I didn't even know gave me the strength to beat this thing.
One of my truly low moments was when I came home from my mastectomy and I had the hated tubes coming out of my sides, and I had to take a shower. I put it off, and my husband was like, you know, I love you, but you really need to take a shower. And so I needed help, though. I didn't want to need help. He was assisting me, and I just broke down in sobs, and I said, I am not the same. I am a freak. I feel like a freak. I feel incomplete and really wounded. And my husband, Craig, who is a visual artist, he looked at me, and he just took me in his arms, sobbing, and he said, I have always loved asymmetry anyway, and I'll always love you.
You know, my scariest moment wasn't my diagnosis. It wasn't having a double mastectomy. It was my first visit to the oncologist office, and I was checking out, and their chemotherapy room is right there. Beautiful room. And I looked in, and I saw all these people in there getting chemo. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh my God, I have cancer. And I have an 11-year-old. And I had to sit down. I mean, that really affected me. So I went home and talked to my husband and called my best friends, who I call my pink warriors. And one of my best friends has had cancer, and he said, Kelly, you're going to have to embrace this cancer, embrace this tumor, and love it out. I went, you have got to be kidding me. No. So we all got together and named my tumor Bib, B-I-B, which means the bastard in my boob. So we are writing a book, and it's going to be The Life and Death of Bib.
Well, my scariest moment was when my surgeon told me I had an aggressive tumor. So I turned over in the recovery room and said, okay, what are we going to do about it? So my treatment of choice was to do stem cells, and that's what I did. So by me having the stem cells, of course, that's high-powered chemotherapy. That meant your hair was coming out for sure, your eyebrows and everything else you were going to lose. So I made it up in my mind. I said, okay, I'm not going out looking like some freak. I'm going to put on a wig, which I did, styled it like my own hair, made up my face, and I said, I'm not going to be tore from the floor up. And I used imagery, so I used Pac-Man. Pac-Man ate up that tumor. And guess what? We're not alone.
For me, the scariest moment, I really believe, was the night after my biopsy. I had been a widow for 23 years, and all of a sudden I realized I am alone. I never realized it before. I am alone. I'm alone here with this thing in my body. So the next day, my sister and we went to the Mission Hospital Breast Navigators. I walked into their little office, and it was like I had met an angel. She explained everything to me. She walked me through everything I could know, and I felt as if I was going to be all right, and I felt a certain calm come over me, and I knew that they were going to help me go through everything, and everything was going to be okay.
My scariest moment had to have been the night before, and I realized something was terribly wrong, and the gravity of the situation had come over me, and I'm laying in the bathtub crying, and I look up and just said, please don't let me have breast cancer without insurance. Well, I went to the health department the next day, and they examined me and said, well, we basically have good news and bad news. The bad news is you probably have breast cancer. But the good news is you qualify for the Breast Cervical Cancer Control Program, BCEP. It will provide you with emergency Medicaid, and all your treatments will be paid for. Of course, at that point, I wished I had just prayed not to have breast cancer. But in Buddhism, we have a saying, Hindoku Iyaku, and that means taking poison and turning it into medicine. And that's basically what chemo did for our lives. It took poison and turned it into medicine to heal us.
I guess my scariest moment, like Bonnie, I found the tumor myself. There must be something about Bonnie's and being aware of what's going on. And everything changed for me at that moment. The way the doctors treated me and the way the radiologist moved me through the office once they determined that I had breast cancer, it changed. And I remember sitting in a special room that I'd never been in before for all the years that I'd had mammograms. And I was sitting there with an elderly woman and a younger woman, looked like she could be in her childbearing years. And they had both had cancer from their conversation when I walked into the room. And I thought to myself, and I prayed, if somebody out of these three women has to have cancer, let it be me, because I know that I can fight it. I know that I can find the strength within me to survive. And through all the changes that are very scary and very difficult, that's the thing that resonates with me, is that you can fight it and you can become a survivor. And all these women here today are survivors. So get it going and get it on and get on with it and get healthy.
Together we're going to make it a world with less